I would suspect that these girls in their extra race. Okay.
Okay, we now have the Coxed Fours. This is the Lee Rowing Club against Reading Rowing Club. The Lee Rowing Club are on the Berkshire station, that's nearest to the towpath. And they're getting dangerously close to the booths there, Alison.
Yeah, and we've got a Coxed Fours race, so that's, you don't expect to see that. That's something both crews really have gone very far apart. Fortunately, Lee...
You'd have to say the Lee, obviously hugging the bank there to stay out of the stream, but it's questionable whether staying that close to the middle of the river is a sensible idea. However, it's the Lee that have a lead heading down past the old barn bar towards the enclosure, and the Lee have put on a pretty good show here.
They did. I wonder if they just got... Sometimes you just get caught a little bit with wind, I think, as you come past the island, but they were well enough ahead. Within the first, minute and a half, 2 minutes of this race, they've got out to a clear lead. The distinctive orange of Lee Rowing Club on the left-hand bank. Reading University. They're a good length down now on Lee Rowing Club.
I don't know whether you can hear the tannoy in the background, but the
Reading Rowing Club, sorry.
Both crews are rating 31 strokes per minute, and that's counted normally by a rate meter, which Alison Mowbray drives beautifully next to me. I quite honestly do not have a clue how those things work. 31 strokes a minute for this sort of race. Good going?
Well, they've really dropped it down now. So, Lee pushed it out the start. They pushed it through the island, and now they've got nearly 2 lengths of clear water. They've really lengthened out and just relaxed down. Now it will be the stroke girl, because we've got the Coxes facing backwards. It will be the stroke kind of reading the race and just taking that down there. Reading Rowing Club, again, they put in a good gutsy fight, but I think they're still keeping their rating a little bit higher.
Next race for you is race number 11. Again, this is the Coxed Fours with Clydesdale Amateur Rowing Club on the Berkshire station. The Buckingham station is Barnesbridge Ladies. They've cleared the island, and it looks to me as if Barnesbridge here. Yep, we're back to your favourite, the drone here, Alison. Look at this, half a length to Barnes.
Well done, the Barnesbridge Ladies. They've got a good lead out of here. Third to a half a length. Clydesdale come down, and they're hanging on in there, but I would say every stroke now, Barnesbridge pulling out a little bit more, pulling out a little bit more. This is the really tough part of the race. You do your sprint, you settle in, and this is when the lactic acid kicks in, and it takes some guts through this part of the race. It really does, because if you're in the lead, you really have to still keep pushing it. You can't relax at this point. And if you're down, this is when you have to dig in, despite the lactic acid, and really push hard, because if you get dropped any more at this point, you're not going to be coming back. You want to keep hold of that connection as long as possible.
About 500 metres into this 1,500 metre sprint, and you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, it is Barnesbridge Ladies that have a lead over the Scots. By a length, possibly, length and a bit.
Clydesdale have still just got that contact, but I don't know how long it's kind of tortuous. Each stroke they're just pulling a little bit more, just a little bit more. Barnesbridge have been able to settle into a good long rate of 34, which for a Coxed boat, that slightly heavier boat, 34 is a good pace through the middle of this race. They've been able to settle down to that and still just inch away. And you can imagine in the Clydesdale boat, they'll be pulling in the pushes, they'll be pushing hard to stay in contention, but it does look at the moment that no matter what they do, Barnesbridge Ladies are just slipping away.
I was just thinking, the shot from the drone, it really does complement rowing. Every stroke looks really, really pretty, looks good. doesn't it?
Well, I guess what you can't see, you can see the angles. You can see the angles of these crews look good. They're getting a
Yes.
good. That's an important thing. They're getting the same reach. And what you can't see, you're right. What you can't see from the drone that sometimes looks messy is whether people are skying their blades or. But as you can see with these crews, their blades are pushing their handles down and getting those blades down to the water.
The overhead shot gives you, here's one for you, symmetry. How's
Symmetry.
that? Do you like that?
Yeah, I like that.
We love a drone and we love a bit of symmetry. They're passing us now. We're about halfway down this course. So 1,500 metres, 750 metres to go from where we're sat. And we can look out of our commentary position window over the heads of the spectators. And we can tell you that it's the Londoners beating the Scots by just over a length.
Yeah, the Barnesbridge ladies have finally broken clear. They've got just a few feet of clear water between them and the gutsy Clydesdale crew. And that means the Barnesbridge ladies, having really pushed on through the middle of that race, they were 34 strokes per minute. They've now dropped it down to 32, saving themselves a little bit, but they're not able to completely relax. It's, when you're in this situation, the head-to-head, you come all this way and you just have that. You have the one race. They'll have done the time trial this morning, and then it's kind of heartbreaking, really. You have that one race. There's no repechage. In a multi-lane regatta, you get knocked out in the first race. You probably have a repechage to go through, or a B final or a D final.
Yeah, we are now at the start of the Intermediate Club Cox Fours with Wallingford Rowing Club against Llandaff Rowing Club from Cardiff, just off Cardiff Bay, Llandaff, and it looks like Wallingford Rowing Club have come off the start really, really well there at the end of the island. They're rating a bit higher than the Welsh, although the Welsh are not giving up here. Well, why would they? They're just at the top of the island, about a minute into this race, and Wallingford wearing red on the left-hand side of your screen. They're just pulling away now from Llandaff. And you got a rate on these, Alison?
Well, I had Llandaff. I can't say it as well as you, I'm afraid. At about 38 off the end of the island, they've kept it higher longer. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Very good. Well, Llandaff did keep their rating higher longer, but the Wallingford crew have stretched out. Now, what you can also see from these pictures is the interesting rigging of the Wallingford crew.
And the term is?
It's called a frig rig.
Is that the same as bucket rig?
Oh, do you call it a bucket rig? I would call it a frig rig, but there you go.
I heard one of our Olympic rowers saying that one of the British boats has just been re-rigged and it's bucket rig.
Yeah, I think that's.
But I always remember it being called frig rig. Why frig rigged?
I don't know. Do you want to tell me?
No, I don't. I'd be making it up. But
it's certainly working for the Wallingford crew. They've pulled out to over half a length lead now. Usually this rigging is because of getting the symmetry in the boat, and they've really kept they've kept a good straight course. If you've got the longer rowers, we're talking about the angles here, and if you've got somebody who is longer at bow, you have more turning force at bow, and so if you kind of actually this can really balance the boat out to change the order of the people in it. And Llandaff did get very close to the booms, and they're going very, very close to the booms again, all the way down. But Wallingford now have broken clear.
Yeah.
They've just been pushing out every stroke. I mean, it's not taken them long now. We're not even in the enclosures yet. We're a couple of 100 metres from the enclosures, and already they've broken clear, keeping their rating high.
So we're streaming every race here at Henley Women's Regatta. If you want to know the results, you can go onto our website, hwr.org.uk. Streaming here right the way through the 3 days of Henley Women's Regatta. Over 425 crews taking part from all over the world. They are coming to race, and we're watching here Wallingford Rowing Club showing how it should be done in the Coxed Fours, and they lead Llandaff as they come up to the halfway point.
So race is happening every 4 minutes this afternoon. So we don't get the whole race. There's at least 2 races on the course at a time. So and these bigger boats, these faster boats, it takes them slightly less time to complete the course, but still there's always two races on to get through them because it's now so popular. A really tight timetable of races. 6 launches following the race, so you can see behind the launch with the umpire and the on-course commentary. So if you were down here, I know you're watching at home, but if you were down here, you would hear some different commentary coming out across the speakers. Wallingford dropped their rate to about 32 now because they've got a good, comfortable lead. Llandaff, that boat looks very big for them. They look very high off the water.
They do.
I wonder, these club crews, it was the same. You use what you've got, and you don't have in the the bigger clubs. You're going to have a boat that's built exactly for you, but a lot of these clubs, you've got maybe 2 or 3 fours, and you row in what you've got. And
I mean, it has to be said, on this reach, you've got Upper Thames Rowing Club, whose boathouse is just fantastic, and of course Leander Club down by the bridge. I had to go through Leander Club the other day to have a chat with somebody. I went through their boathouse. I mean, they're all M-packers, not very old, top quality kit, but it costs money. And as you say, clubs have to make do with what they've got. So if you're slightly overboated or underboated, then...
Oh, technical terms there.
Do you like that?
You're very good. Do you want to explain it, underboated and overboated for us?
You're either too big or too small for it, or the boat's too big or too small for you. So you're either sitting right out of the water, or you're becoming a submarine. So
you're basically the ballast in the boat and how much you push it down. And so Wallingford here, they're really putting in a fighting performance. They kept their rate up to about 34, 35 right until here. We're passing Upper Thames now, coming down towards the finish, within sight of the finish, and it's only now that they've dropped their rate. Very often, clubs, when they get a good lead, they're practicing for the next one. They're right, we'll practice this race, we'll practice this lead.